So you talked about obviously the rivalry between Indiana and Miami, but that you also brought up the Indiana-Detroit. Everyone knows about the Indiana-Detroit.
That was a big rivalry.
I was at home like, what the hell? What the hell?
So we talk about the Malice and the Palace. We played through that time. You being live in there, we see the documentaries and the stuff what was it really like inside the Malice?
It was a nightmare, honestly. It was so many different emotions. I was playing extremely well. I was, 24 for me is like 30. 'Cause I'm playing a lot of defense.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I was playing extremely well. Having my way. Came back better that season. A better defender and averaging 7 points more through the first 9 games. Some people would say I couldn't sustain 24. All right, maybe it's 22. 4 points better. I'm better than what I was the prior year. Yeah. Maybe it's 25. So I was having a hell of a season, and I knew what Detroit was about. I had to become a more efficient scorer because Detroit not letting you play around.
Yeah.
By the time you take 3 dribbles, they dead.
Yeah.
So now I'm a 1 dribble bucket guy at this point. So I pretty much answered a few questions, and we felt like those games was some of the hardest games we ever played. Mm-hmm. We was a mirror image of each other.
Yeah.
And so from a basketball perspective, it was incredible playing against Rip. Mm-hmm. Rip not physically strong, but he mentally well on you because you was chasing.
Endurance-wise, buddy.
So you got to run, and your legs is going to be dead by the end of the game.
Yeah.
So from Ben, more physical.
Yes.
And people like that. So and even Tayshaun, well, not physically strong but long.
Yeah.
So you got to constantly find ways to score on Tayshaun.
Yeah.
So it's like mentally draining. And then being in the arena, as you know, the arena was super hostile. Mm-hmm. Detroit.
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
Philly.
Well, there's a difference between hostile and racist. We're going to say Boston. We ain't going to say Boston is hostile. We're going to call that what that is.
Here we go, Boston. You open a can of worms.
I'm just telling you, I ain't the only one that said it. Google it. Sure it's going to come up.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So the incident happens.
Yeah.
All right, and you go and lay down on the scores table.
Yeah.
Trying to defuse the situation, I'm guessing.
I watched.
Or, okay, go. I don't know.
I watched. I know what you was doing. You was taking your 10 seconds, right? You was counting
5 seconds.
Your 5 seconds. My bad, 5 seconds. But I watched. I'll be paying attention to you, dog. I watch your docs. I watched. You went and took your 5 seconds, which was taught to you. So you probably don't take therapy. I take therapy, and you take therapy
for sure.
So he was taking his 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get into the therapy talk.
All right. So
he was
5
taking
seconds.
His 5 seconds.
Yeah. So we up like 20. Again, in the arena. Yep. So in my mind, I play hard to the last whistle. Even if I'm down 30, I'm picking up full court. Mm-hmm. That's just what I was taught. Yeah. So and no layups, right? So when Ben went up, I was just like, okay, let me foul him. Yeah. So I felt it wasn't a hard shove. You didn't see Ben fly across. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Ben was like, they're down, and he had to go to the free throw line. So. And then also his I think his pops or somebody has passed away like that day or before. So whatever's going through his head, he thought he gonna push me. Yeah. So I stood there. I took the push. And at this point I'm trying not to get suspended. The year before I got suspended in the playoffs. I've been suspended in the playoffs a lot. So I'm trying not to be suspended anymore. So I said, all right, cool. It's like I'm gonna take this push. I'm gonna try to be the bigger man. And Ben was super riled up. Yeah. They're down. So I get it. So I said, I'm not trying to fight. I've already lost a lot of cash, getting suspended. So I'm not trying to lose no cash today. So I thought the scorer's table, as my momentum took me to the scorer's table. So I'm like, he didn't punch me in my face. So I'm cool. I'm cool. So I said, I'm just going to lay down here. I got Stack Jack. Stack ain't going to let nothing happen to me.
Yeah, real one. I
had J.O. J.O. ain't letting nothing happen to me.
Real one.
I got JT from Brooklyn, a little former hustler. Yeah. I got all these hustlers in front of me. So I'm like, I'm good. So imagine laying down while, I'm good. Nobody touched me. And then I wasn't prepared. So that had nothing to do with what actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When somebody, I wasn't prepared for somebody to throw something at me.
Yeah.
I prepared for everything else.
Except for the beer getting tossed at you.
That was surprising.
It
and
surprised everybody. It surprised me watching.
And they didn't show that part. And if you look at the clips, the editors, they show it from when I went out.
Yeah.
They didn't show the 5 minutes it took. That should have been a T.
Yeah.
I'm on the table for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
So at what point in time, you know the hand signal, boom, boom, right? And now at that point, when the ref goes here, if you continue, you're gonna get fined. Like now, the commissioner's gonna be like, you're supposed to be off the floor. But he was never ejected. You see what I'm saying? They let him stay on the floor for 5 minutes. So now the stadium's riled up, which led this guy in the fourth quarter just threw a couple of beer in my face. That was super insulting.
Yeah.
So
he say super.
super insulting. I was in the stands and
Super insulting.
I think I was in the stands in 3 seconds. I was like,
Hey, no, listen, hey. No,
Hey, the dope thing about it though, hold on, you guys are cool now, right? The guy who threw the beer.
Yeah.
Is that what I heard?
yeah, I mean, like you said, man, I had a problem with one individual. I didn't have a problem with all the fans.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I'm not gonna let the media turn this into a race war.
Yeah.
People was trying to say white, black. I'm like, nah, that's another man disrespecting another man.
Yeah.
In the hood, somebody disrespect you. You fight,
Pink,
you
black,
get over it,
no matter what color.
and you move on.
Yeah.
So that's what that was about. And I know him more than anybody else know him. I got his number. Right? And he's for sure a little wild. He's wild. He's for sure. Nobody else is gonna throw a beer at me but him. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was the one dude.
I should have him on your podcast.
Might be. Good call. I actually had a run in Detroit too, and it was one of those things where it's like, obviously when you get towards the end of your career, you know what I'm saying. And the situation I was in, it was one of those games where I think we were up, or it was one of those things where I just had to fill in some minutes towards the end. As soon as I walk in the game, dude just started firing off, riding me. So now I get to the free throw line. He's been riding me for a minute. So now I get to the free throw line. I got fouled. I get to the free throw line. I make the first free throw, and I make the second one. And after that, it's a timeout. This is my perfect opportunity. I started to walk to the bench, and I made a U-turn, and I walked back. Because I knew I wasn't going to get another chance. This is about 2 minutes left in the game. Once the game start back and everything go back, I'm just not going to have this opportunity. The game, I couldn't miss my opportunity. You know this as an enforcer and as a player. You can't miss the opportunities when you get them.
Yeah.
I couldn't miss this opportunity to come back and confront this. I literally walked over to the sideline and stood up over top of him. I really walked over to the sideline. I stood over top of him. I say, sit your ass down and enjoy the game. I say, because if you wasn't in this arena, you wouldn't be talking like that. So sit down and enjoy the game if I smack out you in front of your woman.
In front of his woman?
In front of his woman. Yeah, I was smack out you in front of your woman. So, like, I understand how Detroit fans could kind of get under your skin. I ain't had no beer thrown at me.
Yeah.
I ain't had no beer, but I believe if it would have went a little further, he would have been the mother that probably would have tossed a beer at me.
Yeah. Oh, right.
He was one of those type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand how fans could get under your skin a little bit. And I ain't even the type of person that responded to that, but that mother rolled me as soon as I got in the game. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't take it.
It was super unfortunate, man. It was just like so much was at stake.
Yeah.
Another All-Star. That happened in November. Mm-hmm. So now you missed that All-Star. I was 13 before that. You missed that. That's second team. That's first team next year.
Yeah.
That's first team.
Yeah.
So many things was at stake.
And on top of it is a fan question on here. It's a great question. If that doesn't happen, what do you think the ceiling is for that Pacers team? Because that team was
Great question.
I mean,
Great
like every
question.
time you saw them on the schedule, it was like, gosh,
Y'all was loaded.
That team was sick, man. So I got to imagine there was a championship in there. I got the rivalries it would have been more rivalries. My career would have been different because when it's your team, it's your team.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yes.
That's a different amount of shots.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I don't know about that, but I can about imagine.
I mean, I can imagine too. I can imagine. I've been around guys with their team.
Exactly right.
It's different from taking a comfortable 20-plus shots.
Yeah.
Then now you're getting on another team. Now you got to ease your way into getting another 20-plus shots.
Yes.
And then when you get to, that's why I always tell people, don't request trades, man. You want to be comfortable, and it's going to add to your legacy. Then you get moved. Now you're the fourth option. You go from the first to the second, then you go to the third. Now you're the fifth.
Yeah.
It don't matter how good you are.
Yeah.
It's not your team.
Yeah.
You know?
I tell guys all the time, and I repeat it: you're a trade, an injury, and one coach away from being an all-star role player out of the league. It can happen just like that.
Or having a big legacy.
Yeah, or having a great legacy.
having a
It
great
can
legacy.
happen just like that.
So I think my ceiling, was not reached, and I think the team ceiling wasn't reached.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think watching that team, and like I said, I just from afar, you know what I'm saying, I would have fit in perfect. I love to watch that team play. And obviously competing against y'all was a whole nother thing, but